everybody, good afternoon. I'm coming to you from beautiful North Carolina. We're going to do a little vlog today. I'm going to be hitting some nice twisties hopefully later in this ride, but we'll start off with some vlogging, some good old-fashioned videos. So what I'm going to talk about today is remote working and working from home, and just kind of like the way the working landscape changed due to 2020. So yeah. First off, as everybody knows, there was a little thing called COVID that hit in March 2020. That's the news to no one. And that had a whole giant set of side effects on the world. One of which was people were, due to laws and regulations, being forced to isolate, right? To go be by themselves, and not get other people sick. So, with that came trying to figure out working conditions for people. And I think, though, the biggest thing we learned was there are a lot of jobs that can be done not in an office. An office is not a magical space to get work done in. You know, a manufacturing facility is, right? You need to go to a place that has the tools and equipment and product you're putting together and building. But for people doing paperwork type work, you know, administrative people, an office doesn't actually provide that much of a service, as we found out. And there are positives to an office, like the camaraderie and just ability to meet in person, and all those things have advantages. But with modern technology, it's not necessarily required, right? It's just a convenience or a potential benefit. So there's also a lot of disadvantages, though, right? I mean, you have to pay for office space and have that building space. There's just a lot of, you're adding traffic to the roads for people to get to work, and just a lot of different things that go into getting people to an office, especially if they don't kind of need to be there, if their job can be done remotely from home. And then there's, of course, the fact that you can increase your talent pool significantly. So, I mean, a lot of moms, right, especially, and dads too, but a lot of moms will take some time off to raise kids. Maybe 3 to 10 years, let's say, to raise kids. And if they could be working remote during that time and still raising kids, I mean, more family time, but then also getting some income, companies getting a valuable employee, So it's like, man, like that's awesome. It's a really good use of it. And then, like my scenario, I need to be out of state from where I work. I need to be out of state for 2 whole weeks. And I'm not on vacation. Like, I don't need the time off. I just need to have my body here for family reason. So it's like, I want to work. And a lot of my job, fortunately, can be done remotely. So it's kind of a no-brainer. It's like, I talked to my boss, and luckily he was like, yeah, go ahead, do it, it's kind of one of those things, like, why not? That was the shortest passage I've ever seen in my life. But, yeah, so I've been working remote for the last few days. I worked remote a couple months during COVID, and I've worked remote here and there other times. So I have a pretty good sense of working remote. And then I've worked, on-site at jobs for years now, of course. So that I have a very good feel for. But honestly, I think it depends on the type of work you're doing, and it depends on your personality type. There's a lot of factors. So factor number 1, type of work you're doing. Of course, there are 3 types of work. There's stuff that has to be done on site, like I said, hands-on work. 2, there's administrative work that can be done fully remote, really, really just paperwork, regulatory type stuff. And then there's stuff that's in between, right? Like, you need some level of ties to the facility, or a facility, but you don't need to be there on site every day necessarily. So that's where I fall in, to that number 2 category. I've got years of experience at this company now. I know what the facility looks like and all the ins and outs and the product line. So I can be remote for pretty long stretches, and it's like I know what I'm looking at. So I don't necessarily have to go put my eyes on something every single time there's an issue, right? Somebody can send me a quick picture or just a verbal description, and I already know what's going on just because I have experience with it. So I'm in somewhere in that second category. With that being said, that allows what they call a hybrid working environment. I negotiate this pass? Yes. Yeehaw! that encourages a hybrid working environment, and I'm a big fan of that personally. To have the freedom to kind of go out of state or just go remote for a week or 2 or 3 at a time, hugely beneficial for somebody like me. Younger guy, I don't have a family, I don't have a lot of stuff tying me down. I could go anywhere I want. The biggest thing holding me back is a job. So if I don't have that job holding me back, does it give me some flexibility? That's critical, that's huge. It's a game changer for me. So I really appreciate the ability to do that. I've been having a lot of fun down here while I'm still working. And the funny thing is, there's so many less distractions. Like, I love my coworkers. They're great people. And I love talking to them. But that's also the problem. I love talking to them, right? So anybody who has a job knows this. I mean, there's some days where you're talking to coworkers far longer than you should be. You know, I mean, on the neighborhood of hours, right? Because somebody catches your ear for half an hour, and then if 2 or 3 more people do, you just wasted an hour and a half, right? If you're remote, it's a lot less likely. I mean, people can call you, and that's good. You know, they BS for a little bit. That's fine, right? We're all humans. But then it's just kind of like the expectation's different. It sort of forces you to just get back to work and get your stuff done. And I can get more done in 6 or 7 hours remote than I can get done in an 8-hour day on site. No doubt in my mind. I can crank work out, and I like it. I'm a pretty social guy, so I like being around people. But when I'm working, I just want to sometimes I just want to sit down and get the thing done. You know, some tasks are more team oriented, but some things aren't. It's like I gotta make a Word document for something. Like, I don't need 14 people staring over my shoulder. I just gotta crank it out. So that's where it really comes in handy. And then, you know, it enables me, without the commute, to go do something like this. So I got some things to do tonight, but I got started with work early. I finished early. I'm gonna go on a 2.5-hour motorcycle ride, and then I'm going to you know, get back home and make some dinner and do what I gotta do. So it's like, just the level of flexibility it gives you is really out of this world. Especially that hybrid work environment, because if you're fully remote, I mean, I think that's fine too, obviously, but we going over the yellow line? It's scaring me, buddy. I think that's fine too, obviously, but I don't know. I think for me, somebody who's a pretty social person, I'd get a little lonely, especially living alone. If you got a family and everything, and you see a lot of people outside of work, then yeah, you'll be fine. And I mean, I definitely have a decent social life, but I don't have a robust enough social life, I don't think, to work fully remote. Now, that's not to say I couldn't adapt and really get into some more hobbies with some of that freed up commuting time. I think I definitely would do that, in fact. But it's something you really got to consider. So, you know, another factor is there's the stigma, right? There's the stigma of, for people who don't have the ability to work remote and have never done it. Oh, you're not actually working, you're working remote. They put it in air quotes. And listen, I had that mentality, and with certain people, I still have that mentality. But there are certain people I work with who are primarily remote or fully remote, and man, are they effective. Like, they're always available when I call them. They're always willing to help. They're super good employees. This one woman that I work with is just, I mean, 10 out of 10 employee. Just everything you could ask for. She works mostly remote. If I were her boss, I'm not. I mean, I'd be like, I wouldn't even remotely think to ask where she's currently sitting, if it's in the office or at home. Like, I wouldn't care. I'd be like, you're getting so much good work done. It's none of my freaking business. You just keep doing what you're doing. You know, what can I do to help you, kind of thing. So that's the mentality we need to have, right? And then guess what? Yeah. One of my other coworkers admitted to me, he's like, dude, I don't work well remote at all. I get lazy, I get working on my house, I get doing whatever. Okay, great. He needs the structure of coming into the office. I actually was kind of in that boat to some degree too. So I actually sympathize with that. You know, so that's great. Like, give that person an office space. I think remote work should be an option, not a you know, forced thing. And then one of the things I've done is I've, like, on my schedule, I've just put the types of tasks that I can do remotely and the types of tasks I need to be on site for. And you know, with that delegation of tasks on my end, I know that if there's things that aren't super urgent, and I know that I need to go remote for a couple weeks, like this week, I just save the tasks so that I have plenty. I mean, I have plenty of work to do. Like, I won't finish everything I would probably want to finish in these next 2 weeks. So like, that's completely not an issue. So where am I? Oh, this is a weird turn. Lots of dust and debris, but we could have made it. That's all right. Safety, better safe than sorry. You know what they say. was the weirdest shifting pattern I've ever done. Anyway, so that road's closed. Interesting. Okay, that's not where I was going anyway. Good. Remote working. Things about remotes, TV remotes, working remotely. Yeah, so it just depends on the person. And I think as we go on throughout time, people have been coming back to the office. And there's people who've realized, like, I don't need to be here. And then there's people who realize, ooh, I missed this. Great! I think we gotta encourage both of them. Like, the people who want to be in the office, keep them in the office. The people who want to be home, keep them at home. And then maybe I would just encourage both of those sides. Try working remote a day a week, or a couple days a month even. Just get a different experience, right? Just try something new. That's all. And if you do that, I don't know. I think it's a good balance, man. Life, everything in life is about balance. But for me, as somebody who loves to ride motorcycles and do a lot of crazy stuff, cars and everything else, I don't mind the commute most of the time. I actually kind of like it. I get to drive my vehicles. It gives me an excuse every single day to hop on my motorcycle or in my car. That's fun for me. Most people, it's not. That's fun for me. So I like a commute. But I want to commute like 3 days a week. Maybe 4 days a week, not 5. Definitely not 6, which I don't. Hammer down, brother. You got a car coming. Yeah, so it's all just a matter of what works for people. And what works for the company too. That's the other thing. There's no excuse though if you're going to work remote. You've got to be able to get your job done. You got to find a way. And guess what? If you don't have the type of job that allows it, which I don't, to at least be fully remote, you're gonna have to just get a new job. Like, you can't expect a company to bend over backwards to weasel you into a role that's remote when your job function truly requires you to be on site. It's an unrealistic expectation. So it kind of works out that way too. But yeah, man, cruising the beautiful Uwharrie National Forest in North Carolina. And I think I'm going to end this video. I'll probably start another one up and talk about something else, so you'll see similar scenery. But man, it's great day to be alive. I appreciate every freaking day on this planet. It's another chance for an adventure. Just doing a good job, work, personal life, riding motorcycles, having fun. Live your life to its fullest, man. You never know when your last day is. My heart could stop. Technically, it could stop any second. I have no idea. But I'm going to have fun until that happens. So, catch you on the next one, guys. Thanks for watching. God bless America. And see you later.